sequence, I'll get rid of me.
For the last time, why can't you remember?
I don't know if you just give me a second.
Oh, you're not even trying.
Oh, lady, I have no idea. Oh, shit, that's not good.
You just hurry up already.
Oh, what was that?
R.I.P. Colt.
That was one ridiculous name. I gotta stop drinking. Okay. How the fuck did I get here?
And I'm back. Alright, let me turn down the game just a little bit just while we're talking and stuff. So, welcome to Black Reef. This is the beach that you kind of wake up on every day, but the game actually does a very clever thing in that you don't wake up and see that exact sequence every single time you loop, because otherwise that would be incredibly repetitive.
Break the... Break the loop? You gotta be kidding me. Nope, that's there. I'm seeing it. Ah, man.
Yeah, so it'd be incredibly repetitive, so... the beach that makes you stay the same age.
Who am
I should focus on the game. However, that was a very good thing.
Yeah, that was very good.
What the fuck's my name? Light infantry machine pistol.
Number 1.
Why do I know this? Oh, okay.
I love that line delivery. What the fuck's my name?
So gunplay in it is really good. I don't know if you can hear, but like the old DualSense is kind of going a bit wild with it because I mean, can you hear this? Can you get some DualSense ASMR? But like, it is quite hefty on the old haptics. One thing I will say is that like of all the games I've played on PlayStation 5, it definitely uses the haptics the most, I would say. Like even when I'm walking down these stairs, it's like each footstep is going. And so that for that reason, I play with my PS5 DualSense plugged in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feels
It uses the DualSense really well, I think. It does use it a lot, but never aggressively. Like it's a lot of subtle things here and there. Like I didn't find myself being distracted by it at all, and it really helped enhance some of the combat. A lot of the combat as well, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this is kind of like Colt's little sort of base of operations, I guess you would call it. This is where you wake up for the first time on Black Reef, and as you can tell, he's done the great thing of getting a map. These are all the Visionaries that he's got to take out, and you know, he's gotten the full Charlie from It's Always Sunny with it. But this guy is one of my favorite things in the entire game.
Black Reef. Must be the low season.
Hacky hacky.
Need this, I think.
So yeah, like
Son of a... I don't know any damn code.
I love the like.
Hello.
I have a real thing about protagonists who talk. Like I find in some games, I think it's so overbearing and it just like doesn't work. But Colt, just.
Guess I forgot the code.
Yeah.
Just it's so funny. It's like it's very self-referential, of course. Like the whole game is quite meta in a way. But like he says things that, and the delivery of it, like the voice acting is just so unbelievably good. Kick ass or anything else.
Like a Colt.
That it just like it doesn't get on my nerves, which is very high praise coming from me if you know any of my like big bugbears when it comes to games. But
It helps that. Yeah, it helps that Colt generally talks to himself, or a lot of his voice acting is in the early parts of every loop. So this moment, as you're leaving the tunnel, out in the world is very minimal.
So I've played this game. I've played this opening like I think 4 times now. I've never once made this jump. So
it is kind of weird. You have to jump late.
you have to hold it. And I just
good.
get it every time.
Richard Ziegler asked, how is performance on PS5 consistent FPS? I didn't have any issues with frame rate. This is currently running at 30 FPS.
I'm
1080p.
streaming it at 30. Yeah.
Yeah, we're streaming at 30 because it's taxing on internet connections and we're not best placed to have high bandwidth. But I never had any issues with frame rate or visual bugs. It's a very polished game. The only time I had something happen was one menu bugged, but it was fine. Like, it wasn't a major issue for me. It didn't really disrupt anything. Otherwise, it's a very, very clean game in terms of technical performance.
Yeah, I mean, there's the occasional visual bug, and sometimes you'll get maybe an AI bug every so often, but like, it's wonderful otherwise. Like, in terms of how it runs, like, I haven't had a single crash.
Yeah, I genuinely didn't have any visual or like stuff, like anything that I noticed anyway. So, I mean, your mileage may vary as with everything, but it was all cool for me.
Oh, here's the lads. So, I kind of enjoy marking people.
That's one cool thing that you can do. If you hold down a down button on the PlayStation controller, you can, if you tap it, you mark someone, but if you hold it down, it will tell you what weapon they have and their general tendency. Like, it will be like incredibly aggressive, so you know how that enemy is going to behave when you alert them.
Like this guy, another snitch asshole. And over here we've got, stop moving, cheap aggressive bastard, unaware of your presence, standard kit, and then this. You know what? It's more fun if I do this. So yeah, you get the hack-a-majig very early on, and it's kind of like the whole first hour or so of the game, I think, is just a very clever tutorial that kind of encourages you to mess around with the game, because that's, you know, where Arkane games really shine, is when you mess around. Don't go over there. No. Oh, go away.
Captain Frantic says, is this game Bioshock but with time travel? No, it's not.
I wish it was. But actually, I don't wish it was. I just want Bioshock at this point. This has definitely got me craving for Bioshock.
Oh, yeah. Hello?
So, gunplay, I will say, like, because I'm typically not a kind of shooty player, but I did mess up the
okay, look, I don't know what I did last night.
But, like, gunplay is very fun. You've kind of got this, like, little side dash that you can do. You can kind of go, and that's your sort of health potion thing right there. But like, it's very fun. It just feels really nice to play because when you do mess up a stealth section,
a little hazy.
It doesn't feel as end of the day as Dishonored. I'll let this kind of talk.
Codes, which I don't. And there's this
you wanna break the loop, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Look, if you don't try to break the loop, I'm just going to kill you over and over again in increasingly violent ways until you do.
Fine, I'll break your fucking loop, and whatever I did to piss you off, I'm sorry. Still there?
You never said that before.
We dated, didn't we?
Just go inside the library. You need to see this.
Alright. No, so, yeah, so in Dishonored it feels like if you messed up or got seen, you'd kind of like, that run would be over and you would either want to, I mean, in Dishonored 2, you could kind of quick start from the quick load and quick save from the menu. Ooh, hello. Oh, I could dual wield. I never really dual wielded in this game, but you can do it. Whereas in this one, it kind of feels like it goes in and out of like all like guns blazing to not very, very quickly. I can't get in there.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Jonathan Smith on YouTube says, is there a big difference in gameplay between Dishonored and Deathloop? Kind of building off what Lucy said there. Yes and no.
Wait, what?
The game, one of the things about Dishonored is you kind of define a playstyle in a lot of ways through the powers you pick. And generally you're funneled down that path, which means you are cut off from the other path. Whereas this game is more about experimenting constantly and switching up your playstyle and kind of adapting on the fly. And because of that, you get more, you interact with more of the game. You can still play the game stealth and you can still play all-out guns, but there's no like morality system, that kind of stuff. It's a similar game, but very different.
Yeah. All right. Cutscene.
shit! What?
Oh, you always fall for the same old shit. Just once, please. Try your hardest to make this interesting.
Whoa. What the fuck is this?
Carnesis! You're gonna give me that attitude? You know, I usually make it easy for you, you ungrateful prick. But this time I'll let you see yourself out.
Yup, we dated. Why are you doing this? What did I do to you?
Alright.
You don't remember.
So I
How
think she
about
locks
that
you in
code?
here.
You remember
This is
that
the thing now, because obviously I've finished it, and like going back to these sort of opening areas, I'm very intrigued as to like what I can and what I can't do, and how the game kind of, like I said, the first hour or so was very much encouraging you to mess around
Here
and
goes.
check out places. But over there, this is kind of a nice moment. So over there, you can kind of see, I did the reload animation, but like you can see sort of where you're about to go, which is very nice. But let's just do this instead.
You gotta be shitting me! Are you? Listen, me? You wrote it on Black Reef. You already know the code. What the fuck does that mean?
Hello? Are you dead yet?
What?
I'm waiting.
Pull me up! Man, you're a postcard, dumbass! You wrote it on the Black Reef postcard. You understand? Okay. I'm gonna drop you now. Wait, no! Wait!
What the fuck?
No!
I love that cutscene.
I just dropped myself.
I think my
What kind
microphone
of
is
fucked
kind of
up world
broken
is
now.
this?
I think it's coming in from my headset.
Okay. Postcard.
Does it sound alright?
Postcard.
Everything sounds
Postcard.
fine, yeah.
Get
Well, I
off the
can't turn my
beach.
microphone off, so I assume it's sort of like decided to break. But you know what? We'll work with it. Alright. So again, woke up. Shit, like big old shit, you died. You're back here again. But this time around, you've got a little bit more
Same morning.
information.
Same fucking
That's what this game is
regular
about.
show.
Just getting a little bit more information every time. Do you think the invasions will be unbalanced on full release? I don't think so. You also have the ability to turn off the invasions to a degree. You can just set it to be single player. You can still get Juliana invasions, but they will be AI instead of actual
Alright.
players. So you can control the invasions to a degree.
So one thing as well that I'll say is all of the codes are randomized.
You're never,
So,
ever going to break
yeah.
the loop.
Can't just
Randomized
be-
for each player.
For each
so what you're
player.
seeing here,
You want me to
yeah.
break
So
it?
what you're seeing
You
here
don't want
won't
me
be
to
the
break it.
same
What
in your
do you
game.
want
So
from me?
don't have to worry about spoilers.
To not suck.
Okay. It's been a pretty
And
shitty
they
morning.
autofill them,
Or two.
so you
So
don't
I'm
even
done.
have to remember
With
them
you
or even
and
kind
all
of
of
waste
this,
time putting
it
them in
ends
every
today.
time. The one thing I'll say is like speedrunners are probably going to be
Up,
mad at how long
up,
it takes for that little circle to fill, but
Yeah.
and then hey,
The-
this little spot gives you a sort of gives you tools.
I'm looking at chat, and just to reiterate, if you're being disruptive,
Shit,
I'm just going to time you out. So, JG, you are done.
Why would someone put this? Whoa! What the fuck? Wow! Wow. Okay. What is this supposed to be? It's cold and weird.
Oh, I love a slab.
Weird. So this one here is Colt's Lab Reprise, which is an incredibly useful one because obviously as you
Okay. Here
if you go
goes.
through all four kind of times of day and you can only have one life, that's going to be very, very tricky. So with Reprise, you can die twice and you kind of rewind a little bit. You'll be invisible when you come back. But that third death, you are gone. And then as well, the other good thing about it is that I think it resets in between whenever you go to a new area or any time of day.
Yeah.
And this is kind of like the cool part of Deathloop, like it's building blocks a little bit where these are all the things that I discovered, and even though like I'm just playing the game and I kind of like, oh yeah, that happened, the game keeps track of it all and it's like gently leading me towards my new thing. So my next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Updam.
Yeah.
Go to my flat.
And going back to the reprise, the really cool thing is like there's so many things in this game that are decisions they make that when you think about it are very, very, very smart when it comes to design. The reprise thing is you get basically 3 chances to do something, and because you get 3 chances, it encourages you to be a bit more experimental and bold. Like there's a bunch of scenarios you can go into where you're like, I'm not quite sure how to figure this out, and I ordinarily you might just sit there and kind of like be paralyzed by what to do. Whereas in this game you can be like, you know what, I'm just going to try poking at different things and see what happens. Run through the front door with guns blazing, see how everyone reacts, see if there's any like vantage points that you can spot, and then when you die you reverse back, and the enemies are going to be on alert for a little bit, but you've got enough distance and you've rewound back that you can now come at it with that new knowledge and tackle it in a more considered way. The one thing that you have to remember is you will need to, if you want to get all your resources back, your residuum, which is a key resource in this game that lets you kind of keep items and weapons and powers and stuff like that between runs. You need to go back to where your body was killed and recover your body.
Sounds like you're
Alright.
It's basically like a corpse run from MMOs or Souls or whatever.
Colt, done talking.
So we're in Updam. Updam I think is my favorite map. Tam, what's yours?
I like this.
Yeah, I think Updam is my favorite as well because it's like it also reminds me a lot of Dishonored.
Yeah,
Got a lot
it's
of
definitely the one that's the most Kanaka. And yeah, like I said, I am way more a Dishonored player than a kind of shooty fun time player, so that's kind of the approach that I'm going to be taking. Stick to the rooftop. I haven't done that.
Remember, if you have any big questions, burning questions, just chuck them in the chat and I'll do my best to read them out and we can try and chat about them. Does single player still need an internet connection? No, single player doesn't need an internet connection. If you are offline, though, I believe Juliana won't invade you completely.
All right. So it's weird. So like we're here up down in the morning at different times of day. Different people will be here. Like this is always here, for example. But over here there might be a turret, or there's usually maybe a kind of guard sentry up here. And so sometimes it's fun just because the enemies lay traps who they think are for you, but then you can just turn them against them. And I'll show you some around in a bit, because that's my favourite thing to do, which is kind of a lot of what I did with Prey. I very much would just sort of go more the tech route and like invest in turrets and things. So here is like one of those, it's just like an open door, it's like a mystery, there's a part of it, it's a weird sort of like autoerotic asphyxiation game, as far as I can tell, where it's like, hey, you know, we're all gonna do this pact of smoke thing, here's my code, and then it's like, you know, it just gives you these little breadcrumbs to start these mysteries, and here you go.
Yeah.
But this isn't
Duncan Hart
main, so we'll carry.
Yeah. Duncan Hart asks, can I play it as an FPS? You can. Yeah.
Yes,
but
you absolutely
can. You can. It will be trickier because Colt doesn't have a lot of health, especially to begin with, and bullets do hella damage. You can augment that. You just need to basically you can play it as a first-person shooter, but to mitigate the fact that Colt is kind of squishy, you need to be very intelligent and strategic with how you use your powers and make sure that your loadout is on point.
Yeah, because as well, I mean, the loadout, building that over time is very important.
Who the fuck is Frank?
But like,
I'm good.
I think as well, the bullets, you don't carry a lot. And so it's not that the game is trying to actively not encourage you to play that way, but it just means that like bullets are rare and you have to think about your environment and go around and try and find places. This though is my favorite gun in the game.
Oh hell yeah.
The nail gun, or is it like the whitest kids you know thing? Nail gun, which I said every single time I would pick it up.
It's basically the silence pistol.
Yeah, it's very, very good. So, like, as well, going through it, not only do you kind of meet Visionaries and, you know, have these conversations with Juliana, you can read their chat logs and kind of, you know, just see how they act amongst themselves. So they also all have, like, code names. So Alpha Wolf 69 is Alexis, and Alexis is just a real pain in the arse. And Charlie is just like a kind of very nerdy guy who's just like desperately, you know, wants to play his games and stuff. And the way they all interact is really cool. And over Archiver, which is a very good pun, is Juliana. And then you see,
all the time.
this is where it's like, oh, more messages have appeared.
From a control room.
I absolutely am going to click on meet hot singles and everything. Fucking knew it.
Too easy.
Say hi to Hit Squad. So like Charlie is like one step ahead of you there. I mean, like, I'm just showing this because it's you know, first day you can play the game. Like, you can just ignore that and just like exit the level normally, or you can do what I did and mess up and kind of have this little this fight sequence. So yeah, here's the game telling you that you can decide to hang around here if you want to, or you can do what I'm doing, and yeah, they're all on their way to coming and yelling at me, so I'm just gonna quickly zip away.
Yeah.
Double jump. Having double jump is like a sort of default freebie ability that they give you is very underrated as well, because it's like, it's the best one.
I love it.
Oh, this is like the one place that I can never get up. There we go. I will never be a speedrunner at this rate. But yeah. Let's just piss off this way before they all kill me. And so then the way that Colt travels is through these tunnels.
Those tunnels run underneath this
and that's my
entire island.
auto-filled code from
That's
earlier.
how I'm
Like
getting
I
to
said,
the
it'll be different
complex.
when you play.
Any idea how this will run on a 2 to 4 year old PC? Dishonored 2 was terribly optimized. Can't say. We played the PlayStation 5 version. Yeah, I really can't say, unfortunately.
I did see that to get like the ultimate slickest version, you do need quite a beefy PC. But if you, I mean, I imagine like can I run this or something would be able to clue you in a little bit more there, because yeah, we both played PS5. And so now it's noon, and so you'll kind of notice that it's very tutorial heavy, because obviously there's a lot of interlocking systems that you kind of have to understand. And so the previous time we came to that menu, it was like, here's how to do your loadout, here's how to change time or whatever. And so you'll find that a lot at the very beginning, but then it completely eases off.
You gonna call me like this all the time, Julie?
Juliana.
I give approximately 0 fucks about what you call yourself.
But you did. Once. We used to be friends, Colt. Can't you read?
Oh, so that's why you told everyone to kill me.
But I'm the only one talking to you. So what does that tell you?
That I hang out with the wrong people. All right. Control center. Shut it down.
Ugh. So yeah, clearly big things are happening over here at the minute.
Big things.
Okay, so there's a tower over there. Let's go have some fun.
I do like this area too. It's a little trickier because of the crates, the cargo containers, which often have people hanging around on top of them.
You can be a little cheeky with the turret. So like, luckily they can't really hear me because I'm that big back. But I can set the turrets off and it'll just clear out the space for me, which is very, very handy if I don't feel like getting my hands dirty. And favorite bit. Can I chuck it? I can just be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, she saw me. No, okay.
The amount of awful situations I've set up for different enemies and visionaries using movable turrets is a lot of fun in this game.
Let's see, she's on edge, so I might see if I can. No, I biffed that. Where'd she go? Oh, she died. That's why. think the weird thing for me, when I was playing Deathloop for the first time is like
Already
trying
got
to
full
understand what I can and can't interact with. So like here, for example, that's Residium, but I can't interact with that just yet. But it's also like stuff in the environment, like you can't mess around with any of that, but then the stuff that you can mess around with and interact with and use to set up traps and things is gets quite useful. So she's glowing. She's glowing. Cause she's quite a powerful enemy, and when I kill her, she should have some better trinkets and maybe even a weapon that I can pick up. So, well, not good ones, but I'm gonna replace